Alright, howdy folks. I'm hiking today on the Hungry Hawk Trail out at Eben Warner State Park. I thought I'd get on here and just talk a little bit about my first 6 months of being home free. And so I started getting itchy feet earlier this year and looking at some trips that I could do. And that's when I decided to move out of my house and into the van and start traveling around. I knew that I wasn't really upset with the way things were going. I wasn't really thrilled or happy about where I was either. So I wanted to make some changes. I had to start cutting down on costs. You know, whether that meant sleeping in the van and you know, taking showers wherever. I was willing to do that because my house is like 22 miles outside of town. I was spending about $400 or $500 a month just on gas. So I decided to move out of my house and start to couch surf. And I've been really fortunate because I have a ton of really good friends around Nashville, and we look out for each other. And so I've had places to stay. I've done house sitting gigs, I've done cat sitting, dog sitting, that sort of thing, and actually kind of racked up some clientele doing that, which was great. And getting paid to stay at someone else's house is always awesome. So started doing that, and my friends James and Laura have just been instrumental in this whole thing because they actually like having me around. I love being around them, so that's kind of been like my home base, their spare bedroom. They've treated me so graciously. It's just been awesome, and you know, they're like my best friends. So that's been a bonus to this experience so far. And so I've been saving money, getting rid of all my possessions, trying to like minimize and minimalize and whatever, and disconnect a little bit just from the social scene, I guess, that was here, because I just stay so busy with music and work and recovery and stuff like that. So it's been nice. I've had 6 months to kind of prepare. I'm going to be leaving the country in 50 days and heading on a trip that should last over a year. So I guess I'm kind of making this video to encourage people who want to go out and ramble across the world that, number one, if you're mindful of what you're doing and you're invested in your friendships, and a lot of times you can go stay with some people and not wear out your welcome by helping them with house chores, paying some of their bills and whatever. And one thing you want to do is be proactive about it and be just very mindful of how you're treating them, and keep your finger on the pulse of whether they want you there or not. You know, I try not to stay somewhere where I feel like I'll be a burden. It's a lot easier just to move on. So first things first, you know, start to minimize your stuff, your worldly possessions, which I didn't really have too much anyway. And then, you know, break the news to your roommates or wherever you live, your landlord, like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Be honest about it. Give everyone advance notice. That's one thing I've done, is I gave my roommates 2 months notice that I was moving out. I gave my work like 6 months notice, basically, that I was going to be leaving, and they've allowed me to work up until I leave my trip, and have even asked, leave for my trip, and have even asked for me to come back at the end of it, which is awesome. So you know, it doesn't take a whole lot of money to go out and travel. I have my first flight flying to Asia, and it was like $310 $85 because I booked in advance and I used an app to help me find the best deal. I'm also going to have a 13-hour layover in San Francisco, which is fine because I have some good friends that have also taken me in. I've stayed at their house a few times since I've started this, and they're from San Francisco. They're going to be there when I'm flying through, so they're going to come pick me up. I'm going to spend some time with them, and I'll take a bus from Navarro back to San Francisco and board my plane to China. So those are a couple things. You know, everyone worries about finances, and yeah, you have to like limit how many times you're gonna go eat out this week. Stop buying soft drinks. If you know, it's the little things that add up. So if you just kind of trim the fat off of your expenses and get what you need versus what you want, then you can save a lot of money. And if you're willing to have 13-hour layovers in places, or you know, fly coach or whatever, then you can get out and see a lot of cool things. And I guess the other point that I wanted to make was I'm in 12-step recovery. I've been clean and sober for the last 5.5 years. That's a big part of my story. It's a big part of my lifestyle. So being in a 12-step fellowship, one thing I had to face was leaving the security of that behind, but also embracing the fact that there are meetings all over the world. I can get sponsorship all over the world. You know, it will be more challenging in places that where the people don't speak English, but all in all, I think I can get what I need, and thanks to technology, I can FaceTime, email, text message, all that, even online meetings. There are tons of resources, and I can always fly back home if that needed to happen. So yeah, stay tuned to my videos, and let's see how this recovery thing on the road works out. I've done a lot of research, and I think I have a lot of good tools to stand in my favor, and basically we know what works and we know what doesn't work. Where you do it, I don't think matters that much. So I think one thing to remember is be willing. So I have to be willing to sleep in my van, but I haven't really had to since I moved out of my place. I've just let everyone know what it is I'm doing, what I'm trying to accomplish, and what I'm willing to do to accomplish it. And I've had a lot of help, you know, and I try to reciprocate that in the best way I can. And it's really worked out for the best. If I were sleeping in my van, it's not something I haven't done before. But it is a lifestyle change, you know. I kind of went from this really kind of nomadic lifestyle before I ended up in Nashville, Tennessee. And then even a little while after I got here, and I got sober and decided I really needed to plant some roots and settle down a little bit. And now I'm 29 years old. I'll be turning 30 in April, and I got itchy feet, and it's time to get out and explore a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. One thing that I've been keeping track of is, you know, becoming home free. You really have to take responsibility for yourself and your carbon footprint, you know, where you're going to be staying, what you're going to be doing, and all that stuff. But one thing I also realized was, instead of, you know, looking at this as, oh, I've got to save as much money as I can, I'm kind of in crisis mode, trying to get things ready so I can go traveling, and kind of look at it in a more positive aspect. of who do I want to spend time with. During my last 6 months in the country, you know, I've never left North America. You know, I'm going to go places where I know no one, places I've never been, and there's a little bit of fear behind that, but one thing you definitely want to do is make your time here count. So, the trail is winding me. Cooperatively living with other people, and seeing what their needs are and how you can be an asset to them while they're helping you out is really important. This trial's kicking my ass, mate. Another thing you're going to want to do is work as much as possible. I mean, if you're saving up to go traveling, you really got to save every penny. So don't just keep your regular job and go lay on someone's couch and annoy them, you know. What I've done is I have a 40-hour-a-week embroidery job that I work. So I do the embroidery thing, but also house sit, cat sit, dog sit. I have some friends who own a photo booth company. We go out and do events, taking people's photos. That's great part-time work. So it keeps me busy. The people that I'm around see that I'm working hard. I'm not just laying on their couch and, you know, eating their food and watching their TV and all that. What you want to do is keep groceries in their house, share them, do chores, and be good company. So that's just one thing to remember. So some good things to have once you become home free is I have a van, a Chrysler Town & Country. I could always sleep in the back of that. It's good to get a twin-size inflatable air mattress because you never know where you're going to be going. So pick up one of those and a pump. I got mine for $7. You need a pack. You need a bag to put your shoes in because you're not going to want to wear the same shoes all the time. You know, a couple camping things, water bottles, stuff like that. You can use a sleeping bag. I basically just brought a pillow with a pillowcase and a sheet inside. Had some sleeping bags and blankets in my van if I needed those. But May was when I moved out of my house and it was pretty hot. All I really needed was a sheet. I sleep pretty hot anyway. So don't really need too much with that. So basically, when I was really bouncing around, like staying in a different place every night, you know, I would take my pack in with my toiletries and my clothes and everything, and you know, if I were wearing a different pair of shoes, I'd take my work shoes in with me so I could go to work the next day, and those, and I just carry that pillow and a pillowcase with a sheet inside. Obviously you're going to want a towel. Just use a backpacking towel, quick dry, chamois type towel, or if you want that comfort of a big fluffy towel, you can carry that around with you and it will dry in your van in the hot sun in the morning. I can tell you that from experience. So I'm leaving in 50 days. I'm getting everything prepared right now for where I'm going, and if you want to keep up with it or check out what I'm doing, you can subscribe to this channel. I'm also going to be doing some giveaways next month in December, so definitely check that out. So stick around and I'll see you in the next video.